Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another video. This one is the one that you guys have been asking about the most. Basically, what's my strategy in the market? How do I actually trade? How do I make money? What does it look like? So essentially, it's very simple. I've tried to make it as simple as I can for you guys. So it's essentially the break and retest strategy, the break and retest method, which is probably the most popular. Okay, so very simply, the way it works is every time a structure gets broken, I catch the retest and try to catch price coming back down. Okay, as simple as that. Now there is some rules in order to actually make it a strategy and to make it really strong and really good. So let's go through them right now. So I've broken it down into the four main time frames I use to sort of analyze it and trade with it. So essentially, the first thing you have to understand is that on the 4-hour time frame, we're trying to catch a real clear trend. All right. Now, what does that sort of look like? So I'm just on a random pair right now, and I'm on the 4-hour time frame. Now, as you can see, there's a real clear uptrend. So that's an opportunity for me to catch buys in the market. And how do I sort of trade this on a 4-hour time frame? Is I wait for some structure to occur on the 4-hour time frame when I catch a break and retest. But I can only do that if the market is trending. So as you can see, it's uptrending. So we can actually use this as a symbol for a break and retest trade. And then we got the same thing down here. We have a downtrend. So we can catch break and retests to the downside. Something like this where the price is consolidating, I obviously can't trade because there's no break and retest of structure. We have to follow the trend. But this downward one is an opportunity to do it. And obviously another consolidation here. So the first thing, or the first sort of thing you need to look at is on a 4-hour time frame, do we have a clear trend? If it's uptrend or downtrend, and that will give us the opportunity to catch the break and retest. Okay. So clear trend, and when will the trend end? So there's a few things that I consider when the trend ends. So I sometimes use a daily time frame and say, okay, how high can we go for the trend to end? So for example, if I go to GN, this is a good example of when a trend will end. So on the 4-hour time frame, I actually understood that, okay, we're in a downtrend. So I can catch a break and retest it to the downside. But how long will this downtrend occur? So we can do it one or two ways. The first way is on a daily time frame, sort of like the weekly to monthly low. That's where not only will the trend end, but that's where they will see some consolidation happen, because that's like the bottom of the trend. Or we can have a look at trend lines. I think EU had a good trend line, so we can have a look at trend lines. So when will the trend end? So this was one, on the 4-hour time frame, we had sort of started to begin a consolidation, but once this trend line was broken, which was holding everything up, that trend line right there, we have started to make a double top and continue down. So when the trend ends, it's either when the trend line gets broken, or if you go into a higher time frame where the daily bottom is. And as you can see on EU for the daily time frame, there's really no bottom, so we can expect the trend to continue down. So I know that by trading the break and retest, this break and retest will continue on the 4-hour time frame by using that. Okay. And any imbalance or level that could cause a reflux. Now this word reflux, I've made it up, doesn't really make any difference, but basically it's a level a level to the left where you can expect price to have a hiccup. Okay. Now let me find a good one on this one. So, essentially, like if I have a look at these levels to the left, so this is one sort of support resistance level, another sort of support resistance level. Now to the right, I can expect there to be some movement around this level, because this is the level where buyers and sellers can buy and sell off. So there's some levels in the market where I can expect a bit of a movement. So if I'm trying to catch a break and retest, I'm trying to catch it off these levels rather than around these levels, because you can see there's a bit of consolidation. But once we broke this level, we can break and retest to the upside. Another level up there, which is where we had a bit of consolidation and a bit of consolidation. So, just a bit of, imbalance. Has there been previous movements to the left where price can be stuck at and not clean through? So as you can see, clean through is a good example here, because price has made a massive move down and we had a massive move up being made too. So there's no imbalance besides here and here, and there's the same thing there. There's no sort of imbalance because price has made that move, for that example anyway. So some things to consider on a 4-hour time frame, and the more clear it is, the more clean it is in terms of the movement, in terms of the structure, in terms of the break and retest. It's going to be easier to trade, to clean the setup. All right, so that's the step one for strategy, the 4-hour time frame. Step two is a 1-hour time frame. So I actually use a 1-hour time frame for the key levels. So these levels I'm drawing on I'm drawing them on the 1 hour time frame. Why? Because they're more important. The 4 hour time frame is too big of a break and retest for the whole market, and we're trying to catch in these small movements. So the 1 hour time frame is really strong for these levels. So there's a 1 hour time frame level, and those are the ones I sort of work off. So there's also one more here. You can have a look at that one right there. It's a mini one. So I use a 1 hour time frame for the levels, and how strong and how important is the level in this grand scheme of things. So what do I mean by that? I mean, essentially, you can see that this level is super strong. It's been touched 1, 2, almost 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times before it got broken. So it's a really important level. And this is also another level too. So in the grand scheme of things, I'm thinking about, essentially, price made a move down, but then it got stuck here. So this is where the imbalance is. This is where liquidity is. This is where the price is reacting to. So that's a very important level, because it's been touched, 1, 2, we had a double bottom, and then we had a sort of a triple top right there. So a double bottom, triple top in a 1 hour key level, it's going to make it super strong and super important. That's going to be a level that I'm interested in using as a break and retest level, because we can't just use every level. Like, we can't use whatever level we want. We got to sort of find the ones that make sense, the ones that give us a high probability setup. So we use the 1 hour time frame to identify those levels. The more touches the level's got, the stronger it is, essentially. So how many touches the level gotten? So the more touches we've got, the more it's been used, super strong, the more you want to use it. It is the last level that is needed to continue price. So what do I mean by that? So essentially, this is somewhat an example. So there's this level here that we can use as where price can bounce off, or we can sort of use this level here too. But as you can see, this level isn't really, price can either do this. So that's one idea, or price can do this. So it can essentially break and retest off 2 different levels. And that's what that one's talking about. So, do we have the right level? Are we getting in a bit too early? Do we need to wait for this stronger pullback? The reason why this level wasn't validated or wasn't needed is because price gave us a triple top off this level, 1, 2, 3 touches, meaning or telling us that it's not going to really come back to that 716 level. We're stuck at that 758 level, essentially. That's a 1 hour time frame. All right. Now, 30-minute time frame, 15-minute time frame, I sort of connect them together. So what that sort of looks like is, if I go to the 15-minute time frame, I'm looking for structure. So that looks like double tops, triple tops. I never really catch. You should never really catch the first entry. So if you have a look at, for example, if price breaks a level and comes up, this is your first opportunity to sell. We don't really want to take the first opportunity to sell. We want to see, at least a double or a triple. We want to take the second or the third opportunity to sell. The first one isn't really giving us a strong setup. It's giving us more of a reaction rather than the momentum, which is what we want to catch. Momentum is what gives us those massive retests. So in a 30-minute time frame, so I can see from this little situation here that there's 2 setups. So the first setup would be this double top to the downside, and the second setup would be this sort of triple top. I would call that one setup, 2 setups, 3 setups. And as you can see, if you took any of them, you're probably looking at, that's the first one. Stop loss above structure, go for those 1 to 3s, which I've already marked out that line. You're probably going to catch 1, 2, 3 trades right here, which is, very simple. But it's only simple because I've identified that the overall trend is obviously downtrend. So I'm just catching on to those movements, all together in that sense. So that's really what I use the 30-minute time frame from, and also the 15-minute time frame. 15 does work well. The 5-minute time frame I could use. I don't have it here, but I could use for candlestick patterns, clear wicked directions. But it moves. I find that the 15-minute time frame, like if I see a shooting star or really clear wicked direction on the 15-minute time frame, it's a lot more stronger than the 5-minute. So it tends to work a lot better. This is sort of like a hanging man candlestick pattern, and we have a basic shooting star there. But it does move quite fast. So you're not always going to catch the perfect candle you want. But it's sort of like a tweezer top, a bearish engulfing on that one. So it just gives you that last confirmation when you use that candlestick confirmation that you need. Okay, that's how we use the 4 main time frames. So some things to consider: how strong is a level, and is it a clean setup? So what do I mean by clean setup? I mean, like, if price was sort of doing this and moving like that and consolidating, like the fact that we have this level that is, you know, being used as a selling point and this level that's being used as a buying point, but the levels in the middle, I wouldn't really call that a strong clean setup. It's a bit messy. Sometimes, you know, I don't know if I can give you an example. Let's have a look. So sometimes, you know, price can just be a little messy. So this is a good example here. Really good example. So this is, you know, a level where we could possibly buy off, but price was just moving around a bit and we could have costed buys here. We could have caught the buys, but as you can see, there was really no retest on this one. It was a break and a breakthrough, so it was like a fake breakout and then a bit of movement around here, and then we had a clear break and retest, but then it came down and started moving around again. But now it's showed up to be a clear break and retest, so it's a lot more cleaner. This section's a lot more cleaner than just this movement here. And also, you know, if you think about how strong is a level, how many confluences do you have at that level? So obviously I've got the trend line that is, you know, used as a horizontal support level. I've got this also support level. I've got the Fibonacci is giving me 61% retracement. So, you know, 3-4 confluences right there that tell me, okay, this level is strong enough and it's clean enough for me to actually consider it to be a break and retest level. All right. Are there any behavior in clear candlestick patterns? That's just talking about wick rejections. You know, really, you know, you can't just take a trade for no reason. You have to have a look at really clear information. So most of the time you will see, you know, triple tops being formed, double tops being formed, head and shoulder patterns, but I just look for the simple wick rejections after a double top. Nothing really complicated. I do find that double tops in a downtrend, obviously double top, double bottom in a downtrend work really strong, really effective on the 15-30 minute time frame. It's just a matter of looking and waiting for them, and they're going to be at the good level. So, you know, these are two simple trades that are nothing complicated at all. Are you trading to us during a session? So this is probably the most important question, because obviously we have, you know, the London session, New York session, Asian session, Tokyo session. Now, in order for you to actually make a move, you need to be, in order for the move to work, in order for the momentum to be taken and your trade to be hit, it needs to really be in a situation where there's a lot of buyers and sellers in the market, a lot of momentum in the market, and it's really going to only happen during the session. So what do I mean by that? Let's just have a look at this for a second. So we have a bit of consolidation and then boom, and move down. A bit of consolidation, then boom, and move down. A bit of consolidation, and boom, and move. So these are sort of what I'm talking about. So this could be, you know, the session time where we have a lot of movement, and other session time. And as you can see, that it's only really during the sessions where you get that massive move to the downside, where you get that massive influx of, you know, sellers in this case entering at once. So, you know, for example, so this is a London pair, the British pound. So I'm going to trade this to a London session, and that's going to really, you know, if I'm lining all my confluences up and I'm trying to catch it during the London session, the movement of price is just going to go to the downside in my favor. You know, I don't really have to do too much thinking. All I have to do is catch a good entry, and the market's going to pay me. It's going to give me that move down during this session. That's where all this momentum comes from. So very important that you train during a session, and even when you backtest, try to backtest the sessions, because this is not going to give you a setup, but this massive movement will. You know, very simple break and retest, double top break and retest. The last thing is your stop loss in a good position. So, you know, obviously I use these break and retests as my stop loss levels. So as you can see, you know, break and retest, my stop loss will be below or above that level. So, you know, sometimes, like, if you were to get a bit late or something, your stop loss, you don't want your stop loss to be too big. Or, you know, you don't want it to be out of place. But the reason why I do like the break and retest level is because the stop loss is in such a good position that if it were to come up, you can expect this to be a breakout of structure, and that's a trade you don't want to be in. So try to get your stop loss in a good position. The reason why I'm showing you GA is because for my I was doing that, one sec. Where's my group? So I was having a look at my monthly stuff. So my first, the last two trades I took was EU. So EU was a sell on EU. So this is the let's have a look. So this is the 4-hour time frame for EU. So as you can see, you know, this is a break and retest of this mini level, but also the break and retest of this trend line. Okay, so the trend line, you know, when will the trend end? When the trend line's broken, essentially. All right, so I've got this, we have this perfect 4-hour wick rejection, so that amazing shooting star. Stop loss above structure, take profit for 1 to 3 or the next key level. So we have, these confluence line up, moving averages going down, and we have that level in the trend line level. So that was the 4-hour time frame. And the 1-hour time frame was essentially like a double touch of that level. And although it did break through, these are wick rejections on the 4-hour time frame, so it's sort of like a rejection of those levels. Wow. So I took the sell off that shooting star candle, and that's where I took the entry. So it's a very simple break and retest, and we ended up setting to break even a couple of hours later. That was that candle that I was talking about, the shooting star candle, and then we had the massive move down, and then we hit take profit, which was a 1 to 3. Obviously, as you can see, this was during a non-session, and then we had the New York session, or the London session. I can't remember which one this one was, but that session really moved price in that direction quite quickly. And we ended up banking some decent money from that one. And the next one was GA, which was the trade. So as you can see, take profit was literally perfect. Price came back up. Just got lucky on that one. And I took another sale on GA. And this was the one I'm showing you right now. So very, very simple, clean stuff. If you're trading during a session and you catch on to the momentum, you catch on to what the market's doing, it's really, really simple to just, wait for that structure to be formed. And the second the structure is formed, with the double top, with the candlestick pattern, with the moving averages, with the momentum, all you have to do is get a really good stop loss and go for that 1 to 3. So I got a good stop loss, went for the 1 to 3. We set to break even again a couple of hours later, and then price. So this was so 6:38 and then 7:02. So 20 minutes later, we had a massive move down. So I got that double touch. I got that rejection. And as you can see, we did have the wick rejection, so I sort of went off that candle. Wasn't a perfect shooting star, but it did tell me that price was going to be rejected, therefore confirming the double top. I'm going to send some setups. And then we had take profit smashed, and that was another beautiful trade. But the reason why I'm showing you these was because those were my last two trades, EU and GA. So very, very simple break and retest of structure. Simple as that. If you go to my Discord, I do send weekly trade setups, and these are 4-hour level break and retested. So these are the bigger picture of what a break and retest is. Obviously you have to go down to lower time frame to catch those trades and try to trade them during the sessions, but this is a good starting point. I send out every single Sunday night to give you guys an idea of what you sort of need to look at. So break and retest of structure, break and retest of structure. This is the one I was looking at before, New Zealand CAD, breaking retest of structure. So GA again, breaking retest of structure. I've been doing this for a while, so if you go all the way up to the top, it's essentially the same thing, if that's going to load. So breaking retest of structure, that's got a trend line in it. This is a triple top or a quadruple top on USD CAD. I actually remember this, a trade USD CAD. So that's a really, really strong important level. Breaking retest of structure. Another one here for Euro GBP, breaking retest of structure with the trend line, with the moving averages, with the support level. So everything essentially I do is the same in terms of a break and retest of structure. But I do send out my signals. I send out my weekly setups every Sunday so that you guys can get a good idea of what I'm looking at for the week. But as you can just tell, it's really all the same stuff. So on the 4-hour time frame, it's important to use those levels, but to understand the market structure. And then you end up going down to lower time frames and you're just catching on those trades. Very simple one there, break and retest of structure. Break and retest, double touch and going for hopefully for the triple touch at that trend line. Another one here, another triple touch at the fib at the trend line. So it's all really the same stuff. Let me know what you guys think about this video. If you have any questions, do ask. I sort of screenshot this, use this. It might sound complicated, but when you get used to it, it's really just a 15-minute time frame, waiting for those double tops during the session and trying to get a good stop loss. And that's a good starting point to what really a break and retest level is. But if you do your top-down analysis and you try to get the bigger picture right, and you try to get those good levels, then you should be able to score some 1 to 3s that will make up for those losses if you do have any. But I try to keep this simple for you guys. It makes sense to me, and I know it probably doesn't make sense to some of you guys, but do give it a shot, do give it a try. Break and retest of structure is a really good strategy. So if you liked this video, do give me a like. If you want to see more, give me a subscribe. But do let me know what you guys want to see in the comments. because from what I read, this is what you guys were after, some strategy videos, how I actually make my money. But very, very simple. So let me know what you guys think, and if you have any questions, still feel free to ask. I'll catch you guys for the next video.